In a dead-end café, dreams rot. Until today, Dana, 28, single mom, scrapes by invisible, pouring coffee for a stranger, Barron Trump. He leaves a $1,000 tip and a note that breaks her. "You're stronger than you know." She chokes, tears flood, a lifeline from nowhere. He saw her when she'd forgotten how. This isn't the end. It's a spark about to blaze. Welcome to Superior Stories, where the overlooked become legends. One note flips her world and lights ours. Don't blink. Dana's fight's just begun. Elmwood's a speck on the map, a nowhere town where the highway's roar drowns out the whispers of ambition. At its edge sits the Rusty Spoon Café, a relic clinging to life like a stubborn weed in cracked pavement. The sign's paint peels and curls, the S in spoon dangling like a loose tooth, and the neon open flickers with a buzz that's more plea than promise. Step inside, and the air hits you, thick with the acrid bite of scorched coffee grounds, laced with a faint whiff of cinnamon from rolls hardening under a smudged glass dome. The linoleum floor's a battlefield, scuffed and sticky, groaning under Dana's sneakers with every step. A jukebox hulks in the corner, silent since the 90s, its chrome dulled by dust and neglect. It's Tuesday, 12:47 p.m., and the place is a tomb. 3 regulars hunch over mugs, their spoons clinking against chipped porcelain like a metronome to monotony. This isn't where dreams are born. It's where they come to fade, where hope's a luxury nobody can afford. But today's the day the tide turns. Dana's 28, but her hazel eyes carry a decade more. She's behind the counter, scrubbing a coffee ring with a rag so threadbare it's more holes than fabric. Her dark hair's wrestled into a bun, strands escaping like they're fleeing the exhaustion pinning her down. Her apron's a war zone. Coffee splashes from a spilled tray at 6 a.m., ketchup streaks from a kid's tantrum at 8, a grease smear from hash browns she slung at 10. She's a single mom, and her hands tell the tale, calloused, aching, trembling when she thinks no one's watching. Her son, Liam, is for a whirlwind of curls and giggles waiting at daycare she's 2 weeks behind on. Rent's due Friday. $6.50 she's nowhere near scraping together. And her phone buzzes in her pocket, a dagger of dread. Daycare, $200 overdue. Please settle today. She swipes it off, whispering one more shift. Just one more. Her smile's a mask, flash for tips, but today it's fraying, edges cracking under a weight she can't name. She catches her reflection in the counter's chipped mirror. Pale, hollow, a ghost in a faded uniform. Invisible, she mutters, scrubbing harder, as if she can erase the thought. She's not broken. Not yet, but the cracks are spreading, and she's running out of glue. Lila's the storm holding this place together. 53, with silver streaks slashing through her black hair like lightning. She's the manager who rules with a voice like gravel and eyes that miss nothing. She's at the espresso machine now, pouring herself a black coffee, steam curling around her like a dragon's breath. "Dana, table 6 needs water. Up to it," she barks, but her gaze softens, lingering on the slump in Dana's shoulders, the way her hands falter. Lila's been here 20 years, a lifer who's seen waitresses collapse under the grind or claw their way to something better. She knows Dana's story, the ex who bolted when Liam was 6 months, the double shifts to keep the lights on, the quiet pride in her spine. Last week, Lila slipped her $20 from the till, growling, "Don't tell nobody," her version of a lifeline. She sips her coffee, watching Dana weave through tables, and mutters to herself, "Kid's tougher than she looks." Lila's the Rusty Spoon's heartbeat, fierce and unyielding, but she's got a soft spot for fighters, and Dana's one, even if she doesn't see it. Then there's Marcus, sprawled at the counter like a king on a thrift store throne. Mid-40s, with a beard more salt than pepper. He's a trucker whose laugh shakes the room. His rig, Big Red, squats out back, a beast of chrome and rust he's hauled from Chicago overnight. He's on his 3rd mug, black, no sugar, no cream, the way God intended, he says with a grin that shows a chipped tooth. Marcus rolls in every Tuesday, a fixture as steady as the counter he leans on. always leaving Dana a crumpled 5 and a wink. "You're too good for this dump, kid," he booms today, voice cutting through the fan's hum. She forces a grin, but he sees it, the light in her flickering, the way her hands shake as she pours his refill. He's got a daughter her age, estranged somewhere in Ohio, and maybe that's why he lingers, sipping slow, watching her like a coach eyeing a rookie with potential. "Rough day?" he asks, quieter now. She shrugs, same old, but he doesn't buy it. Marcus is a rock, rough-edged, but warm, and he's rooting for her, even if she doesn't know it. The rusty spoon's a crucible, and Dana's the steel being forged. She moves through it like a soldier, refilling Marcus's mug, clearing toast crumbs from table 3, dodging Lila's glare when she pauses to stretch her aching back. Outside, the world's a gray smear, overcast skies pressed down, a pickup rattles past on Main Street. A stray dog barks at shadows. Inside, it's her war zone. She's battled here 3 years, since Liam's dad walked out with a suitcase and a smirk, leaving her with a crib, a stack of bills, and a fire she didn't know she had. Every dime in her apron's a trophy. Every keep the change, a breath of air in a life that's suffocating her. But it's not enough, not today. Her phone buzzes again. Landlord, Friday or $50 late fee. She shoves it deeper, her chest of ice. "I'm fine," she lies, scrubbing the counter until her knuckles whiten. She's not fine. She's sinking, the water's up to her chin, and she's one wave from going under. The regulars don't notice. Old Mr. Hensley at table 2 stirs his tea, lost in a newspaper from last week. A teenage girl in a hoodie scrolls her phone at table 5, earbuds in, world out. The third's a mystery, some guy in a flannel, sipping coffee like it's a chore. Dana's their shadow, refilling, clearing, smiling through gritted teeth. She's good at this, too good, maybe blending into the wallpaper of their lives. But the air shifts, heavy with something she can't name. The bell above the door jingles, a sharp chime slicing the haze. She glances up, expecting Mrs. Carter with her tea and her usual rant about the weather. Instead, it's him, tall, lean, moving with a quiet that feels out of place, flanked by 2 men in suits. Earpieces, stiff postures, eyes sweeping the room like hawks. He's in a plain gray shirt, slacks that whisper money without shouting it, and he slides into the corner booth with a grace that doesn't belong here. Barron Trump. The name lands like a brick, not because she's odd, but because it's absurd. Him here, in her rusty spoon? She freezes, rag dripping onto the counter, her pulse hammering. "Good afternoon," she says, voice steady despite the quake in her gut. "What can I get you?" He looks up, blue eyes calm, almost too calm. "Cappuccino," he says, soft but firm. "And a roll, please." She nods, scribbling fast, and turns away before he can see her flush. Lila's eyebrow shoots up from the espresso machine. "Who's that?" she hisses low and sharp. "Dunno." Dana lies, though she knows damn well. Marcus cranes his neck, grinning wide. "Fancy boy and a spoon? This I gotta see." Dana ignores them, focusing on the hiss of the machine, the grind of beans, the steam stinging her hands. Anything to anchor her. He's just a customer, she tells herself. Just another order. But her gut twists. He sits too still, too straight, staring out the window like he's whirled away. She doesn't know it yet, but that jingle, that step across the threshold, is the spark. Her life's about to catch fire, and it starts with a single cup. The Rusty Spoon Cafe is a pressure cooker on this gray Tuesday. Its pulse a sluggish hum. The fan whirs like a tired sigh. Marcus's mug clanks against the counter. Mr. Hensley's spoon scrapes his tea in a rhythm older than the cracks in the linoleum. Dana's at the espresso machine, steam spitting as she froths milk, her hands moving with the precision of a soldier too long in the trenches. The air's heavy, burnt coffee tang, a whiff of grease from the grill, the faint mildew of a mop bucket in the back. She's mid-shift, 8 hours into a day that's already bled her dry, when the bell jingles and he walks in, Barron Trump, a name that doesn't belong in Elmwood's dust. Tall, lean, a quiet storm in a gray shirt. He's flanked by 2 suits, black ties, earpieces, eyes like hawks slicing the room apart. They settle in the corner booth, a fortress of silence in a cafe that's never known power like this. Dana sets down his cappuccino and roll. Here you go, steady despite the quake in her chest, and retreats, but the ground's shifting under her. Something's coming and it's got claws. The day's been a slow torture. Tips a measly $7.83 by 1 p.m., a handful of quarters and crumpled ones flung by patrons who don't look up from their screens. Marcus tossed his usual $5, a lifeline she clutched, but it's a drop in a bucket with rent due Friday. $6.50, she's nowhere near, and daycare's $200 overdue, breathing hot on her neck. Liam's sneakers pinch his toes. She saw him wince this morning, and it gutted her. Her apron jingles light, a cruel tease against the weight crushing her spine. She's used to the grind, truckers with fat wallets, salesmen with cheap lines. They've rolled through, tipped okay, vanished. But Barron? He's no regular. He walks in at 12:52, and the rusty spoon tilts. The suits scan every corner. Marcus's mug, Lila's coffee pot, the teenage girl's earbuds, like they're mapping a war zone. Dana's not starstruck. She's too tired for that. She's seen his face, TV flickers, news scrolls. But here, in her cracked corner world, he's an alien. Cappuccino, he says, voice soft but edged, and a roll. She nods, serves, escapes, expecting nothing. A 10 if she's lucky, a nod if she's not. But he doesn't play by her rules. He lingers, sipping slow, staring out the window at a sky that's all bruise and no promise. The suits don't drink, don't blink, their presence a wall she can't breach. The room notices. Marcus cranes his neck, grinning. Fancy boys got backup. Lila mutters, better tip big, pouring her fourth black of the day. The teenage girl glances up, earbuds dangling, whispering to her phone. Dana feels it, eyes crawling over her, not just theirs but everyone's, a spotlight she didn't sign up for. She's wiping table 3, jam smears, toast dust. When she catches it, Barron pulls a pen, black and sleek, from his pocket. He scribbles, quick and sharp, on the receipt she left with his $20 bill. Her stomach lurches. What's he doing? She thinks, rags stalling, water dripping on her sneakers. A complaint? A number? She's at creeps leave digits, smirking like she's a prize. But his face, calm, focused, says something else. The suits shift, one adjusts his cuff, the other nods, and Barron folds the paper, tucking it under the empty cup. He stands, coat slung over his arm, and heads out. Thanks, he says, soft but piercing, catching her eye for a heartbeat too long. The bell chimes, and he's gone, the suits melting into the gray outside. Dana freezes, the cafe too still, the receipt a coiled snake on the table. Marcus whistles, well, damn. Lila's eyebrow arches, go check it, kid. The teenage girl's filming now, phone angled slyly. Dana's chest tightens. She's exposed, a deer in headlights she didn't see coming. She wants to run, hide, scrub the counter until her hands bleed. Anything but face that folded paper. It's not just a tip, it's a bomb, and the fuse is lit. She's trapped in a moment she didn't ask for, a stranger's shadow stretching over her life. What's he want? She mutters, loud enough for Lila to hear. Who? Nobody, she snaps, turning away, but the question claws at her. This isn't routine, it's a reckoning. Inside, Dana's a hurricane, and she's losing the fight. Why me? She whispers, staring at the booth, the cup's foam clinging like a ghost. She's nobody, a waitress in a nowhere town, a speck in a universe that doesn't pause. He's somebody, Barron Trump, heir to a name that echoes power, wealth, headlines she's scrolled past on stolen breaks. What's he doing here, picking her out of the dirt? Her mind's a tangle, doubt, fear, a splinter of something she can't name. There's a catch, she thinks, scrubbing the counter, though it's spotless. Life's a teacher with a hard hand. Kindness costs, and she's paid too much to forget it. Her ex swore forever, then left her with Liam and a $300 overdraft. A regular last week promised a big tip, then stiffed her on a $40 tab, laughing as he walked out. She's a punching bag for empty words, and this, whatever Barron's playing at, feels like another blow. He's mocking me. she mutters, splashing water on a tray, the clatter drowning her thoughts. Rich kid, slumming it, tossing crumbs. But it's deeper than cynicism. It's a weariness that's carved her hollow. She's been on her feet since 5 a.m., 9 hours of pouring, smiling, dodging spills, and snapped faster girl, S from grumpy truckers. Her back's a knot. Her hands shake. She hides it, pouring Marcus's refill with a grin she doesn't feel. Every clink of a cup's a nail in her skull. Every thanks a hollow echo. She's failing. Liam, herself, the life she swore she'd build. Those sneakers he's outgrown. The daycares call she ducks. The nights she collapses too tired to sing him to sleep. I'm nothing, she thinks, catching her reflection in the espresso machine's steel. Pale, gaunt, a shell holding on by threads. She wants to believe in good. Marcus's gruff care, Lila's slipped $20, but it's buried under a mountain of not enough. Barron's presence rips that open, and she hates it. What's he see? She wonders, replaying his thanks, the way his eyes held hers, calm, steady like he knew. I didn't do anything, she tells herself, scrubbing harder, knuckles whitening. Just coffee. Just a roll. That receipt sits there, a dare she can't dodge. She wants to snatch it, tear it, prove it's a lie, a rich boy's game, a pity play. But her hands won't budge. What if it's real? A voice whispers, small but fierce, clawing through the dark. She stomps it flat. Don't be dumb. Hope's a luxury she can't afford. It's been stolen too many times. Yet her heart's a traitor, pounding loud, drowning her doubts. He's gone, she insists, staring at the empty booth, the cup's warmth fading. It's done, but it's not. Lila's watching, arms crossed. You're off, kid. What's up? Donna shrugs. I'll lie. Marcus tilts his head. You're shook talk. She shakes her head, splashing cold water on her face at the sink, the chill biting her skin. It doesn't stop the storm. The bell's echo lingers, Barron's shadow seared into her, too big, too close. She's caught between a life that's crushed her and a spark she's terrified to touch. This clash, her unseen grind against his unasked spotlight, is the forge. Dana's world's a cage, locking her in survival, and Barron's a key she doesn't trust. She expects nothing because nothing's what she's known until now. The external, his arrival, that scribbled receipt, slams into her internal war. Doubt, exhaustion, a hope she's buried deep. It's not about fame or money. It's about being seen. Kindness doesn't care if you're a waitress or an heir. It strikes, demands you feel it. Dana's not ready, but the fight's here. That note's a thunderclap, and she's about to hear it roar. The conflict builds legends, and Dana's war is just waking up. The Rusty Spoon Café hangs in a fragile hush, the bell's last chime fading like a held breath. Dana stands at the sink, cold water dripping from her hands, her reflection a blurry smear in the steel. Barron's gone, him and his suits swallowed by the gray outside, but his shadow clings heavy and unshakable. That folded receipt sits on the corner booth's table, a quiet menace under the empty cappuccino cup. She wants to ignore it, scrub the counter until her knuckles bleed, pretend it's nothing. But her feet betray her, inching closer, pulled by a current she can't fight. The air's thick, coffee dregs, grease, the faint hum of the fan spinning its endless lament. Marcus watches from the counter, mug paused mid-sip. Lila's eyes narrow, her coffee pot stilled. The teenage girl's phone hovers, sneaky in recording. This isn't just a tip. It's a turning point, and it's about to blow the roof off. Dana reaches the booth, heart hammering like a war drum. The cup's foam clings to the rim, a ghost of Barron's presence. She slides the receipt free, fingers trembling, and unfolds it slow, like it might bite. Her breath catches, $1,000, scrawled in the tip line, bold and black against the crumpled paper. $1,000. Her mind reels, rent, daycare, Liam's sneakers a week without panic, all in 4 digits. But it's the words above it that slam her chest. You're stronger than you know. Keep fighting. Better days are ahead. Handwritten, ink sharp, his script steady where her world's not. She stares, unblinking, the cafe blurring as tears prick hot and fast. "No way," she whispers, voice cracking. "This isn't a tip. It's a lifeline, thrown by a stranger who shouldn't care." She stumbles back, sinking into the booth's cracked vinyl, the receipt clutched like a holy relic. Her knees shake, her chest heaves. She's crying now, raw and unguarded, tears splashing onto the paper. "Why me?" she chokes out, not expecting an answer. But the note stares back, silent and sure. Lila's the first to move. She's across the room in 3 strides, coffee sloshing over her mug's edge. "What's wrong, kid?" she snaps, then sees the receipt in Dana's hands. Her eyes widen, a rare crack in her armor. "A grand?" "From him." She snatches it, squinting like it's a forgery, then lets out a low whistle. "Holy hell." Marcus lumbers over, beard bristling, grinning like a kid at Christmas. Fancy boy's got a heart of gold. He slams his mug down, the clank echoing. "What's it say?" Dana hands it over, hands still shaking, and Marcus reads aloud, voice booming. "You're stronger than you know." He stops, throat bobbing. "Damn, kid. He saw you." Lila hands it back, softer now. "That's no small thing." The teenage girl, Katie, Dana vaguely recalls, drops her earbuds, phone still rolling. "Is that Barron Trump?" she squeaks, zooming in. "This is insane." Dana wants to snatch it away, hide, but she's too stunned, tears streaking her face as the room spins. Word spreads like wildfire. Katie's thumbs fly. Instagram, TikTok, a blurry snap of the note with "OMG Barron Trump tipped $1,000" captioned in seconds. The cafe's 3 regulars perk up. Mr. Hensley lowers his paper. The flannel guy cranes his neck. Even the cook, Paco, peeks from the kitchen, spatula dripping grease. "What's the fuss?" he grunts. Lila smirks. Rich kid dropped a bomb. By 1:30, the bell jingles again. 2 women, locals Dana's seen at the gas station, bustle in. "Heard some big shot tipped huge. Is she here?" They spot Dana, red-eyed in the booth, and gasp. "That's her." Marcus laughs. "Welcome to the show." Dana shrinks, clutching the note tighter. "I didn't ask for this," she mutters, but it's too late. Katie's post hits 500 likes in 10 minutes. Comments exploding, kindness goals. Barron's a king. Who's the waitress? The rusty spoon's a hive now, buzzing with whispers, phones pinging, eyes boring into her. Wednesday dawns, and the cafe's a different beast. Dana ties her apron, head pounding from a sleepless night. Liam snores, the note under her pillow, her mind replaying "Stronger Than You Know" on loop. She deposited the $1,000 at midnight. The ATMs hum a surreal hymn, but the wait's still there. The rusty spoon's packed. 10 tables full by 8 a.m., a line out the door by 9. Strangers flood in, phones up, asking, "Where's the Barron girl?" A guy in a ball cap snaps her pouring coffee, muttering, "Viral gold." A mom with kids begs, "Can I see the note?" Dana forces a smile. It's at home, but they linger, ordering muffins they don't eat. Marcus holds court at the counter, retelling it with flair. Fancy boy walks in, bam, $1,000. Lila's barking orders, grinning despite herself. "Move it, Dana, we're hot." As the till rings nonstop. Paco's flipping pancakes double time, muttering, "Never seen this crap." The jukebox, dead for decades, gets a quarter from a tourist. It croaks to life, Elvis warbling through static. The air's electric, coffee, and chaos. And Dana's the eye of it, swept along whether she likes it or not. By noon, a news van rolls up, Channel 7, logo gleaming. A reporter, all teeth and hairspray, barges in with a mic. "Dana, right? Barron Trump's waitress? Tell us everything." "Dana frasas, kufapot trembling." I just serve him," she stammers. The reporter pushes, $1,000 and a note. That's huge. How's it feel? She blinks, tears welling again. "I don't know, good, I guess." Lila steps in. She's working, back off, but the camera's rolling, catching Dana's flush, her apron stains. Katie's post hits 10,000 likes. Hashtag Barron Tip trending on Twitter. Comments flood. "This is what we need. Hope she's okay. Trump kid's got class." Dana ducks behind the counter, splashing water on her face, but there's no hiding. Her phone buzzes. Text from cousins she hasn't seen in years. A voicemail from her landlord. Saw you on TV. Rent still due. She laughs, bitter and sharp. Great. Thursday escalates. The café's a circus, 20 tables crammed, strangers spilling onto the sidewalk, a second news van from Channel 12 joining the fray. A guy in a suit, some influencer, offers Dana $500 for the note. It's history. She snaps, not for sale. Lila hangs a no camera sign, but it's useless. Phone sneak shots, voices clamor. Marcus shields her, growling at a gawker. Give her space, jackass. A woman slips Dana a $20 tip, whispering, you deserve it. Another leaves a napkin note. Stay strong. Dana är torn. Gretel, overwhelmed, exposed. She clutches the receipt's memory, whispering, why me, as the till rings and rings. Social media is a beast. Hashtag Barron Effect starts. Posts of others tipping big, tagging her story. A diner in Ohio goes viral for a $2,000 tip, captioned inspired by Dana. She's not just a waitress now. She's a spark, and the world's catching fire. Friday hits, and the rusty spoon's a shrine. A line snakes around the block. Tourists, locals, a preacher claiming divine timing. The news crews camp out. Mike's thrust at Dana mid-shift. How's it changed you? She stammers, I don't know yet. Inside, she's reeling. The $1,000 paid daycare bought Liam sneakers, but this is bigger. Lila pulls her aside, eyes soft. You're a damn magnet now, kid. Own it. Marcus nods. He lit you up. Run with it. But Dana's not sure. She's grateful. God, yes, but this spotlight burns. Her story's not hers anymore. It's theirs, spiraling beyond the cafe's cracked walls. She stares out the window, the gray sky breaking into slivers of sun, and whispers, what now? The notes echo, better days, rings loud, but the storm's just starting. The Rusty Spoon Cafe is a battlefield by Friday's end, its cracked walls trembling under a siege of noise and light. The line snakes around the block, tourists snapping selfies, locals gawking, news vans humming with diesel and ambition. Inside, Dana's a ghost in her own story, weaving through tables with a coffee pot that shakes in her grip. The air's a tangle, burnt espresso, sweat, the static buzz of a dozen phones filming her every move. The till's rung up more in 3 days than in 3 months, but her chest's a vice, squeezing tighter with every hey, barren girl, and every flash catching her tear-streaked face. She's deposited the $1,000. Rent safe, Liam's got sneakers, but this chaos? It's a tidal wave she can't outrun. The notes echo. You're stronger than you know, loops in her skull, a lifeline she clings to as the world spins out of her hands. Then it comes, a letter that cracks her open and stitches her back together. It's 6 p.m., the sun dipping low, painting the cafe's smudged windows gold. Dana's behind the counter, splashing cold water on her face when Lila storms in from the back. Mail came. She grunts, tossing a sleek envelope onto the counter. It's heavy cream paper, a logo stamped in the corner. Sharp, official, out of place next to the Rusty Spoon's grease-stained chaos. Dana's name's on it, handwritten, and her gut twists. What now? She mutters, wiping her hands on her apron. Marcus leans over. Open it, kid. Looks fancy. The room hushes. Katie's filming. The preacher's praying. A reporter cranes her neck. Dana slits it with a butter knife, hands trembling, and pulls out a single page. The letterhead's stark, Barron Trump. Her breath catches, the cafe fading as she reads. Dana, I didn't expect this to blow up. I saw you that day, tired, steady, pushing through. My mom worked tables before the world knew her name. She'd come home bone-weary, but she never broke. I saw her in you. That $1,000 was a start. Use this to breathe, to build. You're not alone. Barron, a check for $5,000, crisp and real, made out to Dana for Liam's future. She gasps, the paper slipping from her fingers, and collapses into a stool. Tears flood, hot, unstoppable, splashing onto the counter as her shoulders shake. Oh my God. She chokes, pressing the letter to her chest. The room erupts. Marcus whoops. That's my girl. Lila's jaw drops. $5,000? Katie's livestream spikes. He wrote her back. Dana's sobbing now. Not from the money, but the weight of his words. The mirror he's held up to her soul. Barron's mom, Melania, work tables? It hits Dana like a thunderclap. She pictures it. A young woman, maybe 20s, apron-stained, balancing trays in some dim diner. Her accent thick, her hands raw. Before the glamour, before the spotlight. She was her, tired, invisible, fighting for a foothold. Dana's mind flashes. Her own mornings, 5 a.m. starts. Liam's cries as she leaves, the ache in her legs at night. She never broke, Barron wrote, and Dana sees it. Melania's grit, passed down, reflected in a son who saw past Dana's apron to the steel beneath. It's not just a tip or a check. It's a bridge across worlds she never dreamed could touch. She clutches the letter tighter, tears blurring the ink, and whispers, he knew. Her ex left her shattered. The world chewed her up, but Barron saw the woman she's forgotten. Strong, unbroken, a fighter like his mom. The $5,000 isn't charity. It's a hand reaching back through time, from one survivor to another. The café's a cathedral now, hushed and reverent. Marcus kneels beside her, big hand on her shoulder. Kid, he's right. You're a damn warrior. Lila's eyes glisten, rare for her, muttering, didn't see that coming. Katie's stream explodes, 20,000 viewers, comments flooding. This is unreal. Melania was a waitress? Dana es a leyenda. Dana wipes her face, breath hitching, and pulls Liam's photo from her apron, his grin, her reason. For you, she whispers, tracing the check. The reporter pounces, Dana, what's it mean? She looks up, voice raw but steady. He saw me. Not the mess, the me under it. The camera catches it, her tear-streaked resolve, the letter trembling in her hands. It's not about the money anymore. It's about being known, a connection that rewrites her story. He didn't just see me, he understood. She thinks the truth sinking deep. She's been invisible. 3 years of pouring coffee, smiling through gritted teeth, swallowing not enough like bitter grounds. Her ex didn't see her. The world didn't. Even she'd stopped looking. But Barron did. Through the stains, the slump, the force have a nice day. He saw the woman who gets up at 4:30, kisses Liam's forehead, and fights a war nobody notices. My mom never broke, he wrote, and Dana feels it, a lineage of strength she's part now. She's not alone. Not in this booth, this moment, this life. Kindness isn't random. It's a thread, weaving her to Melania, to Barron, to a hope she'd buried. She hugs the letter, sobbing, softening to a shaky laugh, and whispers to Liam's photo, we've got this. The $5,000 is a tool, daycare, a savings account, a bike for his birthday. But the real gift? It's a reflection, handed back by a stranger who cared enough to look. The room shifts, life resumes, but it's different. Marcus claps her back. You're famous, kid. Lila slips her a coffee. Drink, hero. Katie's stream hits 30,000. The preacher chants, blessing. Outside, the news crews clamor, but Dana's still, the letter pressed to her heart. The reporter tries again. What's next? She smiles, small but real. Keep going, I guess. Inside, it's bigger. She's not just surviving now. She's seen, tethered to a past she never knew, a future she can touch. The cafe's chaos fades, the golden light spilling wider, and she feels it. Better days. Barron's note wasn't a fluke. It was a key, unlocking a door she'd nailed shut. She's not invisible anymore. She's a spark, and the fire's hers to carry. The Rusty Spoon Cafe glows under Saturday's dawn, the first light in days breaking through Elmwood's gray shroud. The chaos of the week, crowds, cameras, the relentless ping of phones, has settled into a hum, a new rhythm pulsing through the cracked walls. Dana ties her apron, the stains fainter now, her hands steady for the first time in months. The letter from Barron, creased, tear-smudged, a lifeline in ink, sits safe in her locker, its words etched into her. You're not alone. The $5,000 checks deposited, a cushion she can feel under her feet, but it's more than money. It's air, space to breathe, a crack in the cage she's lived in. The cafe's still buzzing, tables full, the till ringing, but it's different now. She's different. This isn't just survival. It's a victory, and it's rippling far beyond her apron strings. Monday morning, Dana walks Liam to daycare, his new sneakers, blue, with laces he tied himself, bouncing on the sidewalk. The $200 overdue bills paid. The manager's stern "don't let it happen again" softened by a nod. She'd stood at the bank Saturday night, depositing Barron's $5,000, the teller's wide eyes mirroring her own disbelief. "That's a big check," the woman said. Dana smiled, small but real. "Yeah, it is. Rent secure, $6.50 wired Sunday, no late fee, no landlord's growl on her voicemail." She'd called in sick Sunday. First time in 3 years, cradling Liam on the couch, his giggles filling the apartment as they build a fort from blankets and dreams. Monday night, she buys him a bike, red, shiny, $80 from the hardware store. Watching him wobble down the street, her chest swelling with a pride she'd forgotten. "Look, Mommy," he yells, and she laughs, tears pricking because she can look now, really look, without the haze of panic. Back at the Rusty Spoon, the grind's lighter. She pours coffee, clears plates, but her smile's not forced. It's hers again. Lila notices, slipping her an extra shift with a gruff, "You're on fire, kid." Marcus sees it too, winking over his mug. "Told you you're too good for this dump." The $5,000's a seed. $2,000 in his savings for Liam's future, $1,000 for bills. The rest a buffer she's never had. She skips a shift next week, another first, planning a zoo trip with Liam, picturing his face of the lions. Her back still aches, her hands still tremble some nights, but it's not crushing her anymore. She's breathing, standing taller, the weight lifting with every thanks she means. The letter's her talisman, tucked into her wallet now. A reminder she's not invisible, not alone. "Better days," she whispers to Liam's photo each night. And for once, she believes it. The Rusty Spoon transforms too. Tuesday, Lila nails a pay-it-forward board to the wall, plywood, painted red, a marker dangling on a string. "Barron started it," she announces. "Let's keep it rolling." Customers scribble pledges, $5 here, $10 there, tips pooling to cover meals for the broke, the tired, the ones Dana used to be. By Wednesday, it's funded 20 plates, pancakes for a single dad, coffee for a widow, soup for a kid in patched jeans. Marcus drops $20, grinning, "For the next sucker like you, kid." The preacher leaves $50, muttering, "God's work." Dana watches, stunned, a spark she lit, burning brighter. The jukebox, revived, croons Elvis Daily Now, a soundtrack to a cafe reborn. Business booms, weekend receipts triple, Paco's flipping burgers nonstop, Lila's hiring a second cook. "You're our lucky charm," she tells Dana, half teasing, half true. Beyond Elmwood, the ripple grows. #Barron Effect trends for a week. Post-flood Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. A diner in Ohio tips $2,000. Caption, "Dana showed us how." A barista in Texas gets $500 with "Keep Fighting" scrawled on a cup. A single mom in Florida writes on Facebook, "Saw your story. Kept me going when I wanted to quit." Thousands share. Strangers, servers, truckers, tipping big, leaving notes, tagging #Barron Effect. Kindness is contagious. A viral tweet reads, 50,000 likes. Channel 7 airs a segment, "The Waitress Who Sparked a Movement." Dana's face blurred, her voice steady. "He saw me. Maybe we can see each other." Cafes nationwide jump in. Kindness tabs sprout in Denver, Atlanta, Boise, covering tabs for workers drowning like she was. A diner in Michigan frames her story on its wall. "One spark, one fire." Dana's note, photocopied, shared, hangs behind the Rusty Spoon's counter, a quiet legend in a frame Lila bought for $10. "Our claim to fame," she says, "but it's more a beacon." Thursday, a letter arrives, not from Barron, but a stranger. "Dana, I'm a mom in Kansas. Your story got me through chemo. Tip my nurse $100. #Barron Effect. Thank you. Dana reads it, tears welling, and tucks it with Barron's. Friday, the preacher starts a fund, $1,000 from his flock, to help Elmwood single parents. You inspired it, he tells her. She shakes her head. It's not me. It's us. But it is her, a spark that's now ablaze, warming hands she'll never shake. The news fades, vans peel away, crowds thin, but the change sticks. The Rusty Spoon's a hub now, not a grindstone, and Dana's its heart, beating strong. The Rusty Spoon café hums under a Sunday's sun, its cracked walls now a canvas of hope. Dana pours coffee, her apron lighter, her smile real, $5,000 in the bank. Liam's bike gleaming red, a pay-it-forward board buzzing with kindness. Barron Trump walked in with a cappuccino order and walked out leaving a revolution. One note, one spark, and a fire that's warmed Elmwood and beyond. #Barron Effect trends fade, but the glow doesn't. Strangers tip big, cafes fun tabs. A mom in Kansas fights chemo with a $100 boost, all because Dana was seen. She started as a waitress drowning in shadows. She ends as a beacon, proving small acts can shatter darkness. This is Superior Stories, where ordinary lives forge extraordinary legacies. And this tale? It's a torch passed to you. Here's the truth. Dana served coffee, Barron served hope, and together they showed us kindness isn't small, it's seismic. One scribbled note turned her tears into a tidal wave, lifting her from survival to strength, rippling from a cracked booth to a nation hungry for light. She didn't ask for it, exhausted, invisible, scraping by, but it found her because that's what kindness does. It sees the unseen, lifts the broken, and builds bridges where walls once stood. Melania's grit echoed in Barron's pen, Dana's fight mirrored in his words, and now it's our turn. You're stronger than you know, he wrote, and he's right, about her, about you. We're all Dana some days, tired, overlooked, pushing through, but we're all Barron too, holding power to change a life with a single move. So here's your spark. Who's your Dana? The cashier with tired eyes, the neighbor with a forced smile, the stranger you pass every day? You don't need $5,000 or a famous name, a dollar, a note. I see you can shift their world. Dana's story isn't hers alone. It's ours, a call to look closer, act bolder, spread the fire. Drop a tip that stuns, write a word that heals, start your own #Barron Effect right where you stand. Share it below, your kindness, your story, because this channel thrives on sparks like yours. Brighter days aren't coming. They're here, waiting for us to light them up. On Superior Stories, we don't just tell tales, we ignite movements. What's your move? This is Dana's win, Barron's gift, and your chance. One act, one heart, one ripple. That's how we rewrite the gray. Let's keep the fire alive together. Hit subscribe, drop your story, and let's show the world what kindness can do. You're stronger than you know. Prove it today.